Well, a very good afternoon to you. It's just gone midday. It's Wednesday, the 11th of August, 2021. And of course, if you're listening to this on repeat, then it's not that date at all. But this is the Daily Show.
God, you're so wise. So wise.
Well, I figured that I should really try and welcome anyone and everyone who's listening.
Yeah. Are you in an open prison?
Now, that's very kind of you to observe.
I couldn't help noticing there seems to be electrified barbed wire fencing behind you and scrubland. So is it sort of day release from an open prison, or they're letting you into the yard, or what's going on?
Yeah, it's actually part of my duties, you see. I'm responsible for the maintenance of the yard. And so what I do is that I once a week, I'm allowed to just pop out and go and tend to the bushes. And that's what I'm doing today.
So your milkshakes, do they bring the boys to the yard, or how does that work?
I've yet to try this. I've no idea. I can only apologize in advance.
Can I just ask another question? And if you're listening on Deluxe Radio and Radio Waves, I apologize because this is kind of a visual reference. But why are you dressed as Elton John 1978?
Well, I'm pleased you asked that, actually, because the reason why I'm dressed like Elton John from 1978 or whatever the year it might be is for absolutely no other reason than today is a big day for me, Russell.
Oh, what's going on? Not your birthday again. You had
today
one last
is a
week.
big day. So no, it's not my
crazy
birthday.
name. Crazy name. Crazy girl.
Oh, it's Eve Phantom. Good Lord, look at that. Oh, and Luke Newman says, "Good morning, gents. Phil looks like he is rejoining a pop band for a reunion video."
It does.
Thanks,
look
Luke.
like that. It does. I'll be honest.
I can take the glasses off if it would make it easy. I don't think I'll be able to see anything, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. That's fine.
No, Elton, put them back on, mate. Put them back on.
I'm melting. Anyway, I should point out, that just in case you are wondering, I'm actually sort of in the fortunate position of being on the roof terrace at work, and we have a rather spectacular view where I am.
Hang on, Starbucks has a roof terrace.
I know. It's absolutely extraordinary. Yeah,
Jeez.
Absolutely. It's an extra pick-me-up. But anyway, the point is that we've got some rather spectacular views around. I thought I'd share it with everyone just to sort of
get. Please do, everybody.
So hang on a sec. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to enlarge the screen. Oh, there we go. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Look, isn't that nice? There you go.
It's a high-tech prison.
High being the operative word, because I think we're on something like the 14th floor where I am at the moment.
You're not allowed to show the other side from the other view, are you? You're not allowed to show the other view, are you?
Well, the problem is if I give the other view, it might give away the location. But anyway, not that doesn't necessarily give the location away. It's a little bit windy, by the way. So if I do this with my hands, I'm trying to keep the wind away from the microphone if I can. So forgive me.
He's praying for the show.
He's having a quick prayer. Anyway, Chrissy Holt says, "Hi boys, look lovely, Phil. Thunderstorms threatened today. 42 in the shade."
Oh my God.
Smoked salmon salad for lunch. Oh, now that's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, my diet is going remarkably well.
Oh yes, you've got the shakes, haven't you?
Yes, I'm on my shake diet. No, I don't have the shakes. It's all right. I haven't got, I'm not quite that.
You know what I mean.
Bad with my drinking, which has eased up. £8 lost so far, ladies and gentlemen. £8. This is week.
Good work.
5, I think it is. Yeah, I'm really.
Veronica Curran, by the way. Veronica Curran says, "Hello."
Hang on, take yourself a bit away from.
Veronica Curran says, "Thank you." Veronica Curran says, "Hello, gents. How are you? Notifications only just got it." Right.
Now, what does that mean? Explain that. I don't know what it means. I don't know.
I assume what she means is that unfortunately she only just got the memo that the show was starting at midday. But anyway, the point I was going to make.
Do you write to everybody? Do you write a letter to everybody that arrives on?
I send out some mail out. It's a bit of a nuisance actually, because thanks to the postal system in this country, I actually have to send the messages out about a week in advance, which is really annoying because more often than not the guests can change last minute, and so subsequently I have to actually sort of then go and rewrite to people telling them that we're really sorry, and it changed the advertised schedule. It changed the advertised schedule. This guest will be appearing on that day, and of course by the time I get around to posting it, by the time I post it, it's too late. Too late. You see, they get the notification out 3 or 4 days later. It's terrible. So anyway. But yes, I was saying it's a big day for me.
Still sounding better than you ever did, looking like a true. I walked right into that, didn't I?
I think that's an Elton John reference. Good work.
Of course it is.
Anyway,
of course it is. Here's pop.
No, I know it is.
Pop quiz, everybody. Name one of the dancers in that video that Arlene Phillips did. Name one of the dancers. Phil's frozen. Oh, thank God for that. No,
No.
he's back. Bruno Tonioli. Bruno. Yeah.
Yes, he was in the video, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was as a kid. Michael Verby, right? I can answer this question, Michael, who's still with his sister Stacey in Spain. Unbelievable. Just popping over to Spain. Yeah, he's been there like 12 months or something. Morning, gents. May I ask if anyone else 3 months after having the second jab has experienced periods of overwhelming tiredness? Absolutely.
Oh, my goodness me. Now, Michael, I'm so pleased you said that.
I was talking.
I'm
you jump in, Elton. Don't you worry, mate.
No, I won't worry. I'll tell you why, because I'm so pleased you said that, because I genuinely, for a long time, thought it was me. Really thought it was me.
You bore yourself and you send yourself to sleep. That is why.
But I'm delighted to say that actually, sort of, I think, where is it now? So it was June, July, or actually say, yes, it's 3 months. It is, honestly, it's nowhere near as bad as it was after the original.
It does go. Michael, it does go. But Jesus, I was absolutely out for the count. It got crazy. It got really.
It did get slightly worse doing this show for him, I'm afraid. Sadly, Russ did nod off a couple of times whilst I was talking to him.
But I've known you many years, and even before the word COVID had been invented, I did nod off during conversations with you because, frankly, it was just so dull.
It's true, but he got around it very well, actually, because either he put that's why he wears the sort of the polarized glasses, so I can't actually see what the eyes are doing.
That is correct. You can't see them. I'm actually asleep.
Yeah, or when it's not sunny, he's even more sneaky, where he actually paints eyeballs onto the eyelids. So what will happen is when he closes his eyes, it still looks like his eyes are open. I mean, I granted he looks like he's not blinking, and then I'm really worried something terrible's happened. Well, not very long, but at the same time. But anyway,
Russ, you look so thin. You need a good meal inside you.
Gracious me.
I'm logging. What's very interesting is I'm logging everything I'm eating and drinking. I do it on my Fitbit platform.
You're logging everything?
Yeah, everything. Yeah.
Wow.
It gives you a really good idea of your calorific intake. And it helps a lot. And also having a standing up desk, that's really good. It's great. It's going to be a long process because when you get to my age, your metabolism is screwed. I mean, it's just pathetic. No, Michael, it will pass, but it's you're going to have afternoon. Well, look, you're in Spain.
Well,
you got the
I was going to say
we used to have siestas.
We should obviously point out, as we always say, that we're no medical experts, but it has passed for both Russ and I, respectively. Yeah. So here's hoping the same happens to you. Right?
No, you can't, because
I need to tell you why it's a big day.
Just a minute. You can tell us.
It's not just a minute; it's the Daily Show.
Repetition, hesitation, or deviation, Kenneth. What is this jacket you wear? Is it what the hell is it? Is it from the Dukes of Hazzard?
I can't tell you exactly. Or is it a
camouflage jacket?
I can't tell you exactly what one of my colleagues said this morning. Actually, no, it was a stark contrast, really, because I had two colleagues compliment this morning. One said, the very first one said, "Hey, Phil, I really like your jacket. It looks really nice on you." That was the first person.
Then you patted their guide dog and they moved down the corridor.
Then the second person turned around and said, "Phil, what the f*** are you wearing?"
Yeah. I'm kind of veering towards the second person, and Julia Hartley Brewer knows her stuff.
She's on holiday, so you can't blame her today.
No. She. What don't you message her every day? Jules, if I'm missing you, darling, are you all right? What is it? Is it camouflage? Is it a formal jacket? Can we not see a bit more of this jacket?
Oh dear. Oh, I can try. Hang on. There you go. Can you see the pattern there?
Does your mum not want her curtains back?
It's actually really useful, actually. Look, it's got a built-in drawstring. Watch what happens to it. You see? Oh, look at that.
It's a complicated jacket, isn't it? It's complicated.
Anyway, it's the reason that. Can I tell you why it's a big day for me?
Yep, go ahead. We're agog.
Thanks. Okay, well, don't do that. We're agog. Okay. Now, the reason why it's a big day for me is because I am destined to go to the theatre for the first time in over 18 months this afternoon.
Wow. What are you going to see?
Now, I knew you were going to ask that, and I have to confess I can't remember what it's called, which is ridiculous, but I didn't organise
This is a great anecdote. This is a brilliant anecdote.
No.
It's theatre. Oh, what are you going to see?
Well, excuse me. Hang on. In my defence, the anecdote is more the point I'm going to the theatre. So
no one cares about that. We want to know what you're going to see. What are you? You can't remember at all?
Well, I'll find out in 2 seconds.
Oh my God! Is
Because
it
I'm going to look it
Joseph
up.
and the Amazing Color roller skates or something?
Well, you're not
Well,
far off in terms of the
oh,
way
not
that where
Joseph.
it's actually based.
Is it?
There you go. It's called Constellations. There you go.
Constellations.
Yeah.
What is? I've never heard of it.
Oh, okay.
I'm very good on this. Never heard of it.
Yeah. Well,
Consolations or constellations, like the stars, or constellations. I'm sorry,
no,
you're
constellations, not constellations. Constellations.
Oh, like the stars.
Yes.
Like the stars in the moon.
Yeah. Apparently,
Okay.
it's something to do with beekeeping and stargazing combined. Not entirely sure.
Jesus, that sounds like a night out.
Hey, it sounds like a buzz. Hey.
I hope you didn't get stung for the ticket price.
Wow, wow, wow.
Come on.
Apparently, I'm wondering whether or not we're sitting in row B.
Oh, that's very good.
Thank you very much.
Are you going with the honey?
Hey, we can keep going until you find one you like. I don't mind.
Hey, I tell you what, I hope the weather doesn't pick up, doesn't get bad, because you don't want gales. Come on.
Gales.
Gale's honey, you dick. What do you think I'm saying?
Oh, Gale's honey.
You've ruined the whole momentum there. Everything was rocking and rolling.
Well, it's really not my fault. If you write better gags, I mean, you should try stand-up once in a while. It's quite difficult.
I should do that.
So.
Do you know, I was watching loads of stand-up last night. I went out. I went to town. Get me. And I went to I went to the Soho Whiskey Club where they were doing a bourbon tasting. I just had to be done. Match with cigars, and it was lovely. It was outside before everyone goes, "Ooh, Russ, you don't like going inside." No, I don't like going inside. The numbers were kept way down, so it was just the tiny terrace there, Phil. So when the chairs, the tickets went boom like that, and it was just the seats. There was no extra seats added. Nothing was inside. It was all outside on the terrace, and it was just great to see some of the people I hadn't seen for nearly 18 months, 2 years. It was lovely to see some of the old gang. Chrissy Holt. Russ interrupts as usual, Phil. Won't let you speak. Chrissy, we've heard him speak. You're missing nothing.
Don't worry, Chrissy. You get used to it after a while. I know my place in this world.
I know my place.
I look up to him.
But I look down on him. I know my place. One of the greatest sketches that it describes British life ever. It was the Frost Report. Well, now it doesn't. 2 days to go. I'll be with Luke. You're getting over it. Pace yourself, son. Pace yourself. 2 days to go. I'll be with you both on Friday with the Mental Health Molds book. It's really fun.
Oh yeah, Luke. We've got some bad news about that. No, I'm joking. No.
Don't do that to him. This is a mental health station, and you're putting him into a depression.
Toying with his mind. That's terrible. Yeah. No. So we look forward to it as well. It'd be great.
It'd be very nice. Veronica Curran up in Edinburgh. Veronica, now my mate Dickie Shelton's up there, and some people are doing is the Fringe on?
Yes.
You live in Edinburgh. The Fringe is on, but people aren't packing there, presumably.
I believe my understanding, and Veronica, please correct me if I'm wrong, but usually I'm not. If you, I'm joking completely. Veronica, please do correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that the Fringe does go ahead this year, but it'll be limited capacity.
Yeah. It was a hell of an experience doing the Fringe. I'm so glad I did it. It was really pushing the envelope for me.
I do actually. How does that work, RK? Seriously, if it is limited capacity, because all restrictions in Scotland have been lifted now.
I've no idea. I mean, I've genuinely no idea. I presume they just take out every venue's only allowed X people, or they take a venue and bearing in mind the number of seating capacity in that individual venue, because there's hundreds of venues up there. It's the whole city. Like a phone box is a venue, really. And it was still
who knows? But anyway, just a thought. But there you are.
I presume they cap it. They say you can have 50% capacity. I'm guessing. I don't know. Here we go. Chrissy Holt is saying what she's saying. She's tired. I'm very tired all the time. Sage, Chrissy. But I don't think it's from the vaccine. Lack of vitamin D. You live in
How on earth can you have a lack of vitamin D?
Wait a minute.
You must have... On the contrary, you must have vitamin D overload.
This is what it is. You just said it. Oh, it's 42 degrees. You're living in freaking Spain, inland. You're not even on the coast. You don't even have a Michael and Stacey Verby breeze going on there.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Anyway, I take it loads of extra vitamin D. It's very important, and also for your cognitive powers. In all seriousness, I take extra vitamin D because we don't get it being in London because it's crap, and I take loads of extra vitamin B. Cognitive powers, keeping my brain going for as long as it possibly can, and it helps. Apparently,
have you kept the receipt?
A bit. I kept the receipt for my brain, not for the vitamin B. That's gone for my brain, and Amazon are arguing about it. What can you do? Veronica Curran. Can I, guys?
I've got a good mind to argue with that.
You do look uncanny like Elton today. It's the jacket and the glasses. It's the whole thing that's going on there. It's making me laugh. Guys, well, it's kind of a compliment, isn't it? It's one of the biggest stars the world's ever seen. I'm not saying you look like Shirley Bassey today, so take this as a compliment.
To be perfectly honest, as long as I end up with someone like David Furnish, I'll be quite happy.
You could only dream of ending up with David Furnish. Thank you very much.
No,
right,
come on.
Guys,
David Furnish is annoying.
Why is he annoying?
I don't know. I'll think of a reason.
Have you met him? I've met him. He was perfectly nice.
I'm sure he's lovely if you meet him.
He was fine. He was absolutely fine. We chatted in the street. He was absolutely fine. Guys, can I ask...
He's not very complimentary about me, so...
That's because you nicked the silverware when you went round to Elton and David's for dinner. That's what...
Shh, I told you not to say anything about that.
Larry Viner, whose daughter Amber got married. Congratulations. Apparently it was all lovely, and the pictures look smashing. So congratulations to my mate Larry Viner and his lovely daughter, who they got together under extraordinary circumstances from when she was a baby in South America. Larry talks about it on Facebook, so it's a lovely story. Very, very touching story. Veronica, we'll get to you in a second. I completely forgot. Oh, yeah. Larry does this wonderful trick. So he'll go to like a wedding or a big event, and he picks up all the cut. Oh, Christ. Good afternoon. Welcome to Kempton Park. I'm John Rickman. Hello, and welcome to the... You mean
I thought you'd prefer that.
Howard Jameson feather going on there. Look at that little feather going on.
I mean, I like the way you say "little Howard Jameson feather" going on there.
It's like a whole Avery.
Perfectly honest, to be perfectly honest with you, no disrespect to H, but I mean, he half the time looks like he's got half a turkey on his head.
It's fantastic. He looks like Hiawatha. Howard has a selection of hats, and he doesn't have like one feather. He just has
as a plumage
of feathers. It's
total
plumage. It's like a peacock. It's like a peacock. What I would suggest down Soho.
Yeah, but what I would suggest is quite useful is that when Howard goes underneath a low ceiling, he dusts it on the root.
Beautiful.
So it's quite useful.
Yeah, he does. He does the dusting, the lamps, the chandeliers. Yeah. Right, Larry Viner. When he's at a function, Veronica, we will get to you. I promise. Just hang fire. He collects all the cutlery off the thing, and he walks with a sort of stupid casual walk across the dance floor and deliberately drops it. So people think he's trying to nick all the cutlery. It's the most stupid visual gag, but it just cracks me up every time. And then he tries to look really embarrassed. And there's always people who will suck it in and go, he's trying to nick the cutlery. And he goes, what? And he's standing there surrounded by this huge pile of silverware. Guess you had to be there. Veronica Curran, come on, you may read this, John Rickman. He's gone from Elton John to John Rickman today. I don't know what's going on. It's very exciting.
All right. Well, Veronica Curran says, guys, can I ask Jeff's Journey? I mentioned, and one of the rehabilitations that they use, Neil Heppel. Oh, rehabilitation they use? Maybe rehabilitators they use. Neil Heppel, who has achieved so much. I truly believe that they will be fabulous guests, so many people would benefit.
Oh,
thank you, Veronica.
Have you sent me the details, Veronica, and we'll get them on? Always happy to get them on. If people have got a story to tell, that's beautiful. That's what we want, and that's what we like. We really, really like that. Now, back to Veronica. She's busy today. I'm in Edinburgh. Where are you in Edinburgh? Give me I'm not going to turn up, but I mean, name an Edinburgh site that we might know that you're kind of within easy walking distance of, just so I can position it. D and B12 are definitely an issue. I now get vitamin D3 and B12. It's made a difference, and lavender pillow mist helps.
You've been watching far too much Maggie Smith.
It's Maggie Smith, yes. Yeah, I forgot. I wonder where that voice was. Yes, it is Maggie Smith. Lavender pillow. Yeah, I tell you what helps me sleep at night. A mini schnauzer that sleeps on my head.
He knocks around. The problem is that when Ebbs sleeps across his face, he can't breathe, so he actually goes into a state of unconscious.
Yeah, this is true. And dream that I've got a mini schnauzer on my head. She has the whole of the home. She can sleep wherever she likes. No, on top of my head. Why?
Now look who's joined us.
Ooh,
lovely Demisa. Hello, lovely guys. Just joined you. Sitting here, sans stitches, bandaging, and sling. Mind you, the Elastopass type thing is 12 inches long.
I'm just wondering, Leslie, how you can remember what 12 inches is.
Oh, it's obvious she's got a ruler next to her, hasn't she?
Yeah. There's a great gag there as well. There's another gag, but I'm not going to top it. Leslie has had her blooming elbow rebuilt. She's now sort of Mrs. Meccano. Seriously, the whole of it looks literally, the x-rays that she posted look like a Meccano set. I've never seen anything like it. It's extraordinary. Anyway, that's fantastic that you've got your stitches out and this and the wonders of modern science, eh?
I think we have to start calling it, instead of lovely Demisa, we have to start calling her Robo Demisa.
Lego Demisa. But Lego isn't. It's not like it's built of Lego, but it's got to be something with L. Lithium. No, that's not it. I don't know. What's the metal beginning with L? I can't think of anything. Melanie Hutchins. Hello. Melanie, remind us, you've got a crazy, because we once talk about why is Melanie spelt with an O instead of the usual, and you've got some crazy middle name, like a serious, like Stanley or Dave or Barry or so. You've got some weird middle name.
Chrissy Holt says that's Mike. Lol. No, that's a mic.
No, this is a mic. No, this is
a mic.
That's a mic.
Oh, I see. Oh, I think that she means Mike is made of metal. Metal Mike.
Metal Mickey.
Hey, you see what we did there?
See what I did.
Oh, maybe she is actually married to Metal Mickey. Good gracious.
Oh, yes. Melanie Hutchins' middle name is John.
Oh.
What? Did your parents not like you from birth? I mean, what was going on there? Meccano set. It was Meccano. Meccano was... I loved my Meccano set, but I was absolute crap at it. So I built the most basic things as a little boy because I didn't know. And everyone goes, did your dad help? No.
See, my problem was with Meccano. My problem with Meccano is I could never tighten the screws. It used to drive me nuts.
I thought you were going to say you got a steering wheel on the end of your knob and it drives you nuts. Moving on. Melanie Hutchins, it was the 60s.
Wow.
I know. What was the thing? What were they thinking with the word John? Although the lovely Debbie Jacobs, who's been one of my dearest friends forever. I can never thank her for all her kindness. She's amazing. Her sister, her name on the birth certificate is Steve. Steve. That's her sister. The reason being there was a very popular detective series where the wife was called Steve. They were a very chic couple and they solved crimes. They were very elegant and sophisticated. And she was called Steve. So it was a pretty cool name. Although
I mean, you say
a lot of confusion.
But I know somebody called Steve and he's not cool.
Is he not?
No.
Is he on in the afternoon on BBC Radio 2?
Oh, no, not that Steve.
No. Stevie Nicks. Well, Stevie Graham Simpson, yeah, but just Steve is quite 12 inches. I'm glad Chrissy Holt.
Why are we getting smutty here, for goodness sake? This is silly.
You started it. It was Leslie Demisa. As soon as Leslie Demisa turns up and says 12 inches, it's
I only was reporting what she said. I never said anything about any reference to any double entendres or anything like that.
It's Leslie. Even when she's in emergent, even when she's in ICU, when she's in A&E, I can still phone her up and make her laugh with smut. That is my... Hang on, Melanie Hutchins, I'm married to a Steve. Does he know that? Have you mentioned it? Oh, good God, Michael Verby. Jeez, Michael. I used to play with your Meccano set when you were away at boarding school. Wow. Michael, that's incredible. Did Mum and Dad let you play on my drum set? I bet they did, because I always said, don't let anyone touch the drum set. Okay, Russell. Okay. And everyone I've ever met said, oh, yeah, when you were at boarding school, you used to come round and just play on your drum set. Mum and Dad thought it was great. Thank you. Yes, Graham, I avoided that gag. It's a lovely gag. It's one of my favourites. You can read it, everybody. I'm not going to read it out. I used to I love that gag.
It might go on too long.
Well, always sounds better in millimeters, doesn't it? Well, anything. I can't work it out. I can't work out kilometers per hour when I'm watching car videos and it says it does 300 kilometers an hour. I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent. Absolutely no idea.
No, I can't stand this. This hoo-ha with kilometers drives me absolutely crackers. It's just, why? We're in the UK. We do miles. It's perfectly okay.
We do miles and we do pints, and we know what we're doing.
And actually, I tell you who I've noticed this. Of all people, could you believe? I can't understand why he's doing this. I know this is not Friday. I know we're not talking telly today. But sure. Sir David Attenborough, whenever in any of his documentaries, the new ones, he always talks about kilometers now. Why does he do that?
Because he's hip. He's a hip cat. How old's Sir David Attenborough? Is
93, 94, isn't he?
Is he? Excuse me.
Gesundheit. Oh, there you go. Look at that. He's allergic to broadcasting. It had to happen after all these years.
Yeah, I just realised I'm rubbish at it. So David Attenborough, just as everybody, I put my hand up. I've learnt so much since being a little boy with his stuff. About the animal kingdom and stuff. Absolutely incredible. I never, ever forget when... and no one had ever seen them before, not on television. Thank you very much, Melanie. John. Komodo
MJ
dragon.
for short.
MJ. Oh.
Sorry, what was that? Are you in pain? Well, actually, you are in pain. Let's not dwell on that too much. But
I've had a nervous reaction. I've had a reaction to something. What the hell's going on? Chrissy Holt, my cousin had lots of Meccano train sets. Dinky cars, my favourite. Dinky cars and corgi cars. Oh, God, I loved them.
Actually, you know what? We can tell you like dinky cars because you've got a city run around now.
I have.
I've got a mini, so obviously I liked dinky cars as well.
Dinky cars as well. I was jealous he had so much. I hated having dolls. You are married, Chrissy, aren't you, to a bloke? Or is Mike short for Michaela? Just putting it out there. I'm just asking. Hey.
Asking for a friend.
We're living in egalitarian times. No difference to me.
No, actually, do you know what, though? I tell you, I always sort of remembered, so this, crumbs, this is a confession and a half. I would always sort of say that whenever I was growing up, and this possibly explains a lot, is that I would always remember seeing the way that my sister would play with dolls' houses and the way she would lay out furniture within them. Yeah. And I'd always think that didn't look quite right. And I'd try and tidy it up.
This is very worrying and a very good excuse.
No, I feel like it does explain a lot, but it's still at the same time.
A lot. Did you give the dolls back, or are they next to your whiskey?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't care about them. It was more about their accommodation. I always used to think the accommodation needed smartening up somehow. I redecorated one or two as well.
You're a kind of reverse Rackman. Cutting edge reference there. Some of you older ones will know it. Melanie Hutchins, you've stunned me, Mel. My auntie was going out with Noel Redding. Oh my God, the bass player from the Jimi Hendrix Experience, who I saw 3 times when I was a schoolboy. Perhaps they suggested it. Hey Joe, hey John. No, that's really stretching it. I am thrilled. My day won't get any better knowing. I'm serious. I'm such a Hendrix nut. I went to see his band Fat Mattress, which he would act. Fat Mattress would come and play as a.
Oh, that reminds me. I need to get a new mattress.
Why?
I don't know, because you're supposed to change them once every 8 years or something.
Well, it's interesting. The British change their mattress maybe every 10, 15 years. And in America, you would change your mattress at least every 5 years, if not sooner. Maybe they get more.
Yeah, I bet they have a proper system to get rid of them. You don't see a load of them lining the streets.
What the hell is that about? It's such a freaking faff to get rid of anything now, which we discussed at length in previous shows. They're making it so hard. Stop it. Make it easy on yourself.
You know what I'd like to see, actually, in all seriousness, is I'm quite surprised there's no system that's in
mountain
place.
of cash. That's
Well,
what I'd like to see.
I'm quite surprised there is actually no sort of mattress upcycle system that actually sees that maybe those who are a bit down on their luck, maybe those who maybe are homeless or in shelters or something like that, that they don't get first refusal for mattresses.
Hang on. It's a very good point. We're going to read all of these comments in a sec. Here's the thing, right? The sofa. How many freaking charities did I contact and even have round? Would they take the sofa?
No, they're not allowed to. It's about being flame retardant.
No, it was nothing you can do. They didn't even look at the labels. I mean, the British Heart Foundation was so rude.
Well, you know what the problem is, don't you? Is that your sofa occasionally makes an appearance in this program. So they must have seen it in the program and thought, no, we don't need that.
Well, it's gone now. It's gone now. I have a very nice new sofa. Very nice. Oh, yeah. What have we got going on? Graham Simpson, we buy fuel in litres, then do miles per gallon. If people actually saw the price per gallon, there'd be a revolution. Damn straight, Graham. Damn straight. No one knows what they're paying for. They just, it's one of those things. If you've got to put petrol in your car, you got to put petrol in your car. You don't think.
Well, I was going to say, what's the alternative?
The price. I've never understood this. Ooh, am I going to put, because the price has gone up? What are you going to put in? Milk? Guinness? I mean, this is bullshit. You just got to fill your car with petrol.
Oh, now I'd quite like a vehicle that runs on Guinness, but then again, I don't think I'd get very far.
Probably not. But I just spent 30. I don't get. I mean, my mileage is so low now. So 30 quid lasts 6 weeks, easy. Christ, now you look like Dr. X. This looks like you look like a Marvel character now.
Oh, thanks. I think I'll put that on my CV. He looks like a Marvel.
You do. No. Excuse me, they're hugely successful. What are you moaning about? You look very mysterious.
No.
Hang on. Dr. X.
No. You completely misunderstand me. No, you completely misunderstand me. I'm not saying I'm not happy to be called that. I'm just saying I'll just take the words looks like a Marvel. That will do me very nicely.
Character.
Yeah, I'll admit the character.
The full stop doesn't happen after the word Marvel. Paul Endicott, he of the 60s tours, which I know I bang on about only because I think they're great. And I love it when somebody takes something with their own money and their own initiative and it's their own idea and they've got no backing or anything. They just go and do it. Oh, hello, men's radio and women's radio. And Paul did this with these 60s tours, which are terrific. And Paul has just said, we're talking to the Hendrix estate to put on new Jimi Hendrix London Experience tour. Oh my God. Now, Paul, I presume you've been to his flat, which is it Mozart? No, is it Mozart or Handel? What's the flat? Phil, you know everything. It's the same building where either Mozart or Handel lived and where Jimi Hendrix lived. It's in the West End. It's fantastic.
Well, maybe you're thinking. No, maybe I tell you what I think you're thinking. Maybe there is a bit of a bit of artwork. Maybe there's a little bit of artwork that's sort of on the wall that's showing a body of water around a castle. So that's Mozart. And then as far as how to access that room, you have to use a handle to get into the room. So maybe that's what you're thinking.
God, please.
It's just a thought.
Please tell me when this is over. Just tell me when. It was Handel. You now look, according to Michael Verby in the south of Spain, you look like Yul Brynner in Westworld. How many lines did Yul Brynner have in the whole of that film? It's a fantastic film. It's still a great film, Westworld. 12. He dominated that film. And he had 12 lines in the whole thing. Brook Street. It's in Brook Street. So if you go to Mayfair, it's so worth a trip if you loved Hendrix. If you don't like Hendrix, this is completely... If you like the music of Handel and water music, it's in Brook Street. It's just terrific. They've left Jimi Hendrix's flat as it was. I've cleaned it, obviously. It's all full of dust and cobwebs. It's just fantastic to think he was there. And the old phone. It's great. Dave Sleet. The great psychological brainbog, which he is. Greetings, one and all. Apologies for late arrival. Do you have a note? Training walk for the day done. Loving the hat, Phil. Where are you going? What are you doing now? the hell are you doing? You're not going to jump, are you? You're not going to jump from the. What are you doing? Come away from the edge. Actually, I don't really care. Look, not my business. He jumps.
I thought I'd show you.
So, how are you moving your desk at the same time? I don't understand how you're doing the whole thing. It's extraordinary. So, you're in Croydon.
Look at that. How's that for a backdrop?
That's Tooting Bec Lido, isn't it? All we can
Yes,
see
that's the
is you.
You got it. You caught me out.
Put it down a bit.
Oh, hang on a second. Hang on.
It's fantastic.
I'm sorry. I'm carrying quite a lot of stuff, you see, so this is quite tricky for me.
He's got his umbrella with him. Gee, what is he? Adam Adamant meets John Steed.
No, hang on a second. In my defence, I mean, you say, "Oh, this is nice and warm, actually." Right. In my defence, you say I've got an umbrella with you.
Little warm too.
No, but you say I've got an umbrella with me. It's true, I have. But in my defence, I didn't actually realise the weather was going to be so glorious today. And not to mention, it has been pretty rubbish of late. So you'd be forgiven. You'd be forgiven for thinking that actually it wasn't necessarily going to be as glamorous as it is.
I think Chrissy Holt's marriage is on the rocks. I think Mike's.
I thought she was in the mountains.
Yeah, it says, Phil, you are brilliant. You look very cool. 2 kisses. I swear to God, you are in. You want to emigrate to Spain? You got a ready-made home there.
There you go.
Oh wow! Look at that Peckham in the sunshine. Beautiful.
That's not a bad view, is it?
It's there you go. It is a fantastic view.
I'm going to stay here for the duration now because I can't be bothered to move again.
Can't be bothered to schlep around you. That's your exercise for the week. You must be exhausted. Have a sit down.
Absolutely. Now, the only thing I should warn you about is I'm a little too far away from the screen now. So any messages that come through, it's all on you. I can't see them. So.
Oh, here's one. Just coming in. Phil, I hate you. You're utterly talentless and very irritating. It's from an R. Kane of London.
And Paul Andrews says, "Oh, he's at a detention centre."
That's right. I made that gag when we were talking before the show because we just want to see if.
Oh, look who's finally turned up! How nice of you to join us, then.
He's under no obligation to join us whatsoever. That's just so rude. I hate it when people do that.
No, it's not.
Hello, Sen. You're very welcome. Thank you.
No, hang on. Excuse me. I think you'll find that actually that's an enormous compliment. It means he was missed.
Nicely recovered. It's lovely to see. I swear to God, I think she is gagging for you, Chrissy Holt.
Well, look, excuse me. Can you blame?
It's lovely.
Really?
No, shush. This is a compliment. It's lovely to see all of you, Phil.
Good Lord.
Now, Michael Verby has completely flummoxed me. This is amazing. Jimi Hendrix played the refectory at Golders Green. You are kidding, Michael.
The refectory at Golders Green?
Where was the refectory? The refectory. No, I don't know what that is. I can't believe he played a gig in Golders Green. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Here Joe, Hey Joe, Voodoo Child, and Hava Nagila. Paul Andrews, on the right of the screen, I have a vision of the Oh, Christ. I have a vision of the Radio 1 Roadshow, circa 1976. Well, that's sensational there. And here's a huge star. We're going to introduce you. Hey, Gary Glitter. How's it going, Gary? Jerry Stickles, the road manager, lived a couple of doors down from my nat. So Jerry Stickles was Hendrix's road manager. This is so exciting. I'm such a Hendrix nut. Thank you, Melanie Hutchins. How long did your auntie go out with Noel Redding for?
From about 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock.
Well, that's a lifetime in rock and roll with a relationship, isn't it? I was a huge fan of the drummer, Mitch Mitchell. He was a terrific drummer.
Oh, you couldn't beat him.
Oddly enough, he couldn't beat him. Boom, boom. Thank you. He was premier. Whoa! He was a symbol. You finished? God, give me strength. He was at the Corona Stage School with Larry Viner. It's true. Mitch Mitchell, the drummer, was ex-Corona Stage School, and so was Larry Viner. Linda Dave, take no notice, Phil. They're only jealous.
Thank you, Mother.
Linda, we're not. Although it'd be nice, we wouldn't mind having you as our mom, because you're lovely and charming and delightful. Might be jealous of that a little bit. And Phil has a mum. I don't. Do you know, I dream about my parents nearly every night. It's the most extraordinary thing. The older I get, and they're never great dreams, always wake up in the state. It's the most peculiar thing. I don't know what it is. David.
Now, look, can I ask you something, actually, in all seriousness about it? Because I think you've touched on a really important point there. When you say that you dream about your parents,
yep.
but they're not necessarily good dreams. Do you think that's a coping mechanism for the fact that they're no longer around? In other words, it's like your subconscious mind telling you it's not necessarily painful for you to not have them, if you see what I mean.
Do you know, that's really clever. I never thought about that. Sam Monroe, whose parents like mine have long passed, he says, Sam and I once talked about this, I think, on the phone. I talk to my parents all the time. Me too. It's a bit of a one-way conversation. But there we go.
I suspect it was in life anyway, to be fair.
Well, you can just say, "Hi, Sen, how are you?" You don't have to say anything else for the whole of that's it. 3 hours gone. How was your conversation with Sen? Don't know. I'm mute. It's a very interesting point. I don't know why I have such shocking dreams. They're not nightmares.
Do you believe in dream analysis, though?
No. Not really.
See, I do. I think I definitely think there's something in it. But my problem is I can never remember my dreams. So I don't think I have a point. I don't think there's any point of getting mine analyzed. It'd be a very quick session.
Yeah, I wake up absolutely exhausted. If I do remember a dream, I try and note it down. Graham Simpson, this is so interesting because you can't read the message. It says, I'm an orphan too. Graham, I'd like to ask you a question and everybody else. We get to an orphan, you think of some poor little kid in rags and you take them home and blah, blah, blah. You know, little child. But when you don't have your parents, you are literally an orphan. But I don't walk around thinking I'm an orphan. Not my age. It'd be ridiculous. It just feels ridiculous. It's a word and a description you don't want to attach to an adult. But I guess it's true, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I get. Well,
you think
technically, if the definite, I don't know the Oxford English definition of, but if an orphan is described as an individual who no longer has their parents, then indeed it is. If an orphan's definition is that of a young child or young adult who no longer has their parents, well, then I'm not sure. I wouldn't know without looking up the definition.
You'd have to look up the actual definition, yeah.
But one would assume.
I like this from Sen. He says, and if you believe in this sort of thing, it's very powerful and very positive. And if you don't, you don't. Sen Monroe says, it's as if they're pushing me forward and supporting me. I believe that.
Nice.
If that gives you strength, then I think it's a fantastic thing. And I'm really serious with him, but except
he's just really serious.
True. Well, not really. But if you believe that and you get strength from that and you get encouragement from that, it's a fantastic thing. Oh, Paul Andrews, that's awful. Paul Andrews says, I lost my dad last week. Been chatting to him since and dreaming about him every night. Oh, first of all,
I'm very sorry.
Yeah, commiserations and condolences from Phil and myself and all the team at MRS and WRS. You will dream about him. And I did an interview about a month or two, about 6 weeks ago, maybe, and I wrote a piece as well for a magazine, and I said decided there was no statute of limitations on grief. No statute of limitations on grief. It takes as long as it takes, and if it never goes away, it never goes away, and that's it. So you mustn't beat yourself up about that and think that you're letting yourself down. You're not. It's part of a process, and that's it. The parents predeceased the child equaled orphan. I'm 61. Yeah, the parents predeceased the child. Well, it is the way of the world, isn't it?
Yeah, but then technically a child is classed as under 18.
Oh, the parents.
So that's what I'm not sure about. Because they're not saying
maybe the offspring, or maybe
I was just going to say, I would have thought if it was the offspring, then that would explain that it's any age. But I would have thought child implies that it's only aged up until 18.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing, isn't it?
Well, because otherwise everyone's destined to be an orphan. Well, one would hope that one is all destined to be an orphan, because heaven forbid it's the other way around.
No, this is kind of sad. This is from Chrissy. I've been dreaming about my son Earl a lot, who passed. He passed. I wish he was here to sort my daughter out. I think that's why I am dreaming about him. Phil, I do believe in dream analysis and tarot cards and also rune stones.
I mean, I've got to be honest, I'm a little more cynical about tarot cards, if I'm honest with you. But I do think dream analysis is something, because if nothing else, it's all part of the subconscious mind, and that's part of psychology. Yeah. And psychology to me is mental health. So it's of a great interest to me. That's why I believe that dream analysis, there is something in that. But I must admit, when it comes to things like tarot cards and what were the stones that she mentioned?
Rune stones. RUN.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, because it's not. Like, I've never had it done to me, so I don't know for sure. Maybe if I did, I'd think differently. But I, from what I have seen, from what I know about it, I believe it's just sheer dumb luck.
I think it's chicanery, to be perfectly honest with you.
But it's the same kind. It's actually, to be fair, it's the same kind of premise as horoscopes as well. Horoscopes, you can say it's written in the stars as much as you like, and you can get superb horoscope writers.
I have a very exciting meeting about that tomorrow, so shush. About horoscopes. Now,
I was going to say that about horoscopes, that I believe that sort of if someone wants to use it as a guide, I see no harm in that. And to be honest with you, I've a couple of times I've sort of had horoscopes read to me, not necessarily personal, but just generic ones that sort of cover my birth sign. And I think, actually, yeah, that could apply to me. So maybe there is something in it, because then it somehow gives justification to something happening. But I think it's a coping mechanism rather than anything else. It doesn't necessarily mean it is officially going to happen. Or if you forgive the pun, it doesn't mean it's written in the stars. So.
Let's dash across to New York City. I love the fact this show's international. I absolutely love it. Good morning from Elizabeth Green in New York. And parents, sadly, not a whimsical matter for me. I don't think we were being whimsical about it, Elizabeth. I think we're just saying, even at any age, you can miss it. This is a beautiful thing. I'm going to read this at length. It's from Sen. You can believe it, you cannot believe it. But I think it's absolutely fantastic. I can tell you a story which shook me, Russ. It was only a few years ago. My mum used to wake me up to go to school by gently calling my name and touching my arm. I swear I felt Mum calling me and touching my arm, telling me to wake up. I said, okay, Mum, I'm getting up now. Put the kettle on. I stood up, Russ, and I promise you, I saw her. I felt her hugging me, and I slowly felt her disappearing. My eyes filled with tears, but I felt her. I wouldn't trade that moment in for anything. Wow.
Do you know what? Oh, crumbs, that's giving me goosebumps. Do you know what? I have no time for cynics, because if that brings comfort to somebody, to hell with them. And no time for cynics on that. So.
Now, the cynics might say, and Sen, you wouldn't argue with this, I know, that, well, he was still dreaming. He was still asleep. But maybe he was.
But what does it matter?
It doesn't matter at all. That's
even
the bottom line. It doesn't matter.
Was still dreaming. What the hell does it matter? Because that would have been so comforting. That would have been such an incredible moment. And if I'm honest with you, I have felt relatives who are no longer here sort of just tap me on the shoulder and things like that. It's just a way of dealing with the fact that they're no longer here.
Philip, you going out in that jacket? And you went, that's not a message I want to get from the other side. That's not the message I want to get from the other side. I'd like something a bit more constructive, like, Phil, seriously?
No, I tell you, actually, I tell you what. No, I tell you what once did happen is that I know that my mother went for a reading once. These sort of these
because your mother just said, "I believe in mediums."
Yeah,
medium.
So
she
went for no. So I believe in small, but sadly, I'm a medium. But anyway, what happened was that she went for a reading with this psychic medium, and this medium was pretty darn accurate with pretty much everything that was said, and stuff that absolutely no way he could have been told beforehand, because actually there were some things that my mother didn't know and only found out later through asking other relatives. So really, really freaky stuff. But there was one particular, I remember, message that she received when I was toying with the idea. I think I was around age 16. So it was about a year after my grandmother had died. Grandmothers, actually, I should say. I lost both of them when I was 15. But about a year after my grandmothers had died, and I was getting so close to being of legal driving age, I was just getting impatient. And I said, well, hang on, if I had a moped, I could drive now because I'm 16.
Yeah, that's true.
And a message came through to my mother, and I've never known to this day. I assume it's true. I have to believe it's true.
Let me hazard a guess.
But she just said, no motorbike. And now, if that is true, and I'm hoping
from your mother.
Well, I was going to say, I'm very much hoping that was one of the messages, and it wasn't my mother just telling me what grandma would have wanted.
Your mother saw you coming from 5 miles away, you sucker. Linda Dave says, I believe in medium. I've got loads of comments here. These are great.
I just thought of that.
Holt,
Do you know, seriously, before that point, I'd never thought of it before. I wonder whether or not she just made that up.
She made it up.
That's hilarious.
Chrissy Holt from Spain says, runestones are a guidance to your life used by Vikings. Chrissy, if I ever want to go to rape and pillage, go in a small wooden boat with a dragon on the front and wear a helmet with huge horns sticking out the side, they will be my first port of call. Until then, I'm not in a rush. Emma Webb, I understand about losing parents. Lost my dad to secondary lung cancer in 2009. Oh, God. And my mum to a brain bleed due to medication for a serious stroke. The dreams I have can be tough or funny. Emma, yeah, that's rough. It's
does it bring comfort, Emma? That's what I want to know. So whether or not they are tough dreams or whether or not they're happy dreams, that sounds terrible, you know what I mean? But do they bring comfort? Do they bring some sort of sense of relief seeing them again? Because I will never forget, there was this, and do you know, this is of all the people I've interviewed, and I've been very lucky with the number of people I've interviewed, obviously not quite as many as your good self, RK, but then again, you've had a head start. But of all the people that I've interviewed,
58 billion years, but go on.
There's one chap who stood out an absolute mile to me. It was a guy who's a composer for the 2012 Olympics. He'd been given the honor of writing a piece of music that was going to be played at the opening ceremony of the 2012 Olympics. And the reason why this chap was so unbelievably remarkable is he was completely deaf and he was also completely blind. So he could hear. No, I know, it's unreal. He could hear with hearing aid implants, but he was born deaf. So hearing aid implants helped him. Still couldn't see anything, as nothing could be done about restoring the sight. And yet he managed to compose the most phenomenal piece of music. And I remember, so I was speaking to him, I went round to his flat and he had his piano. He had a music room. His lounge was his music room. Okay, so most people would just have a lounge dining room. It clearly meant the world to him because it was just a music room for him. And he sat at his piano and he played a bit of this music. And I remember sort of sitting there trying not to choke up because it was the most phenomenal piece of music that I could only dream of writing, never mind the fact that someone with such restrictions demonstrating that actually there's nothing to restrict him. It was extraordinary. But the reason why this stood out a mile is because one question I asked him, I just said, how do you cope with the pace of life? How on earth do you exist in a world that is so cruelly not made to help you in any way, shape or form? You know, you can't necessarily sort of be aided with what you see because you can't see where you're going necessarily. You're not aided necessarily with the hearing aids because I know that only gives you so much hearing. How on earth do you cope with it? And his couple of word answers nearly made me cry. He said, I dream.
Wow.
And I thought, even now, actually, that really chokes me. I thought, wow, what an amazing thing to do. Like, so despite the nonsense that he has to deal with, I dream. And that's how he copes with it. And I thought that was amazing. Anyway, I'm not going to talk more about that because I'm about to embarrass myself.
You know what it is? Well, I've got loads of messages coming in, but all of this is about mental health, because if all of this helps you, and I was being silly about Chrissy Holt and her runes, if the rune stones help her, good luck. Why not? It's not doing anybody any harm unless it says reinvade Britain from Scandinavia. Chrissy, you can do it. Probably not a great idea. But otherwise, David Wimble, who's supposed to be on holiday. Wimble, you're supposed to be on holiday, for goodness sake. I have very vivid dreams, always in full color. You show off, you. I have dreams that I am aware will be future deja vu and very conscious about when events happen that I've dreamed about previously. Wow, David, that is cool. That is very cool. Elizabeth Green's going, I was trying to be gentle because she was saying that her parents were incredibly, I'm paraphrasing Elizabeth, if I may, very hardcore. Lucky your brother didn't inherit any of those genes, Elizabeth.
I feel like we're getting into realms that are not fit for broadcast here, but anyway.
No, we're leaving it there. We're leaving it there. Elizabeth has a very famous brother. who's quite controversial. Sarah Ann Russell. Hello, Sarah Ann. A new name to me, new name to Phil, I believe. Fabulous. Welcome to the family of Men's Radio, Women's Radio. Lovely to have you along. My dad.
We'll call you SAR for short.
Do you know this person?
No, Sarah Ann Russell, but SAR, so we'll call her SAR for short.
We don't know.
It's actually quite, to be honest with you,
quite a formal person. No,
I know, but actually, do you know, I've just had a thought. No, but I've just had a thought. Thank goodness your surname isn't Smith, because then you'd be SARS. That'd be terrible.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid going there, but no, you had to walk straight into it. Jeez.
What?
Nothing. Can I read this, please? You could just
get on with it then.
I swear, if I was there, I would push you. I would push you right now. I swear to God. I know your mother's watching, but I would push you. And no jury in the land would convict me. I'd probably get an OBE. My dad died when I was 21.
Watching from the balcony.
My dad died when I was 21, and he's been dead for over 30 years. And I still have conversations with him, says Sarah Ann Russell. His presence is always in my life. I wish he'd been able to see his grandchildren. Yeah. That's it. It's the next generation. You think, they're missing. And yeah. Elizabeth Green says, my father died when I was 15. That is very young.
Wow.
And my mother 6 years ago was formidable. This is interesting. Sam Monroe's. Oh, hang on. Sue Sleep. Where are we here? I'm all over the place. My mum has called out to me more than once. I'll tell you some other time, says Sam Monroe. Linda Day loves the show. Are you not worried that he's sitting so near the edge, Linda? Because I'm tense. I'm actually tense. I got such a thing about heights. It's freaking me out. Emma Webb. Hi, Em. Both sets of dreams can be a comfort. The ones
I'm always on the edge.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't be bothered together. The ones I have of my late gran are of extra special comfort, as we were always close and had a special bond. I never dreamed about my grandparents. I knew one. I never met my grandfathers. They're long dead. I went to Florida, says Sue Sleet, on the anniversary of my dad's death, as he asked me to. What? Excuse me. Hang on. Let me read this.
Hang on a second. Go for that again.
Let me just read it. No, I haven't got to the best bit. You better stand still. This is going to freak you out. Seriously. So I went to Florida, says Sue Sleet, up in Fife in Scotland, on the anniversary of my dad's death, as he asked me to. I took a couple of photos in which my dad appeared in the background.
Wow.
Sue, are you jiving with us? Or are you serious? Your father's dead, passed on. You went to Florida on the anniversary. You took some photos, and your father's image appeared in those photos. That's extraordinary. Still miss him. Totally so. Sen Monroe, my first film script was a gift to me from my parents. I believe that. It's not the first time I've woken up to hear my parents saying, these stories are for you. And I have an entire script in my head, ready to commit to final draft. Totally so. I always think, if I want to think of something creative or whatever, when I put together the one-man show, the stand-up, I don't sit.
I didn't know you had a one-man show.
Shut your face. I don't sit there thinking, I've already write. I walk Ebony, and I just think, and the stuff, the ideas come from absolutely nowhere. It's the same as the book and plot lines in the book. The idea, I don't sit there, right, I've got to work this out. I just let it freeform, and then does it happen? Seriously, Sue Sleet, that is the most amazing story. So your father's image, although he was dead, appeared in
again. I'd like to know, did that bring comfort, or was that quite freaky to look at? I'd imagine it. I could really imagine there's an element of both with that.
I would absolutely freak out completely there. I'd freak out. But what an amazing thing. What an amazing thing. Veronica Curran up in Edinburgh. Our subconscious controls what mood our dreams take. It's about our mental health, totally. How we dream can affect the next day, doesn't it? Just I can wake up, feel absolutely exhausted and think, I don't know why I feel like this. And I realize I've had really, unpleasant, stressful dreams. Where do I send Jeff's details? Have you not got my email? Send me. Oh, you can't. How can we do this?
Message on Facebook privately.
Yeah, message.
Anyway,
me on where are we with the time? Oh, we've run out of time. Wow.
We're completely and utterly. But all I will say is thank you very much indeed for some really amazing messages today, actually.
Fabulous.
And I'm
God,
not talking
there
about
were
in the
some
medium sense either. Some
No, it was
really,
really,
really good
it was really
discussion.
fantastic. Thank you for being so open, and thank you for trusting us that we don't ridicule.
Yeah,
We don't.
absolutely.
We're not here.
It's very
to
much
make you look silly.
appreciated.
We're here to talk to you, not to make you.
We'll
Look
see
silly.
you on Friday at 11
Friday
o'clock.
for
Have
our
a good
3 hours.
day.
Bye.
Bye.